Hello, today I am going to share with you the four most effective strategy to maximize the sale of your property. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to the live webinar. Like I said, I am excited to share with you again the four most effective strategy on the today market to effectively sell your property and get you the maximum profit. Because in contradictory with a lot of people thinking there's only one way to sell, which is listing with the agent. That is not the one of the that is only one of the four ways that I'm going to share with you today. So depend on the situation, I will depend on the situation and depend on financial need. One option, some option may not fit with the seller, right? So at the end of the webinar, I will also share with you the method, the option on how to select the best strategy for you. With that, let's dive into the content right now. Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Longley. I am the real estate agent servicing Chandler area. My focus, my specialties is helping new investors looking to purchase an investment home or even the first primary home for their real estate journey. So I'm excited with you to share with you about the four strategy to sell your house in today's market. All right, let's dive into the content. The very first, here's the table of the content for today at the high level. As you see, this is on the screen. There's going to be four different strategy. Number one, active marketing. Number two, buy before you sell. Number three, creative financing. And number four, iBuyers and wholesaler. Now, some of the strategy you may already hear about the name. I would like to give you much more detailed information on how this could be benefit you as well. So let's dive right into the strategy number one. Active marketing. Well, for this is somewhat we can call it a traditional marketing way, right? Because this is the way, this is the a strategy in which you can do the marketing, or you can hire an agent who responsible for helping you with the marketing and putting your home onto the market. Okay, it's including a couple of steps, including like prepare for your house, doing some preparation work, doing some prepares, doing some staging, hire a professional photographers, hire a videographer, and hire a marketer so that they can run advertise on social media or doing an open house. Those are the critical steps in the active marketing. Yeah, I know some of the passive marketing, someone is just like putting on a website and that's it. Okay, I'm calling this an active marketing because there's going to be a lot of steps to be done, like I just described to you, so that it brings you the best benefit. Okay, now with this strategy, I would recommend you can do that yourself. I think most of the experienced homeowner who already buy and sell a couple houses of their own, they can do it themselves, and you become a for sale by owner. In fact, Zillow has a section for sale by owner as well. But it is also recommended to hire a real estate agent who has experience with marketing and who has the team already. Like I said, there's a lot of work, right? You have to hire a photographer, videographer, marketer, social media strategist, stager, cleaning company. So there's a lot of things involved. And if you are not, I'm assume that most of you working full time, and you're not on, you have something going on with your life and not be able to take care of everything at once, then an agent can help you navigate through the process easier, and they already have the resource already available that they can use. All right. Next, well, when you, like I said, you're gonna have a support right from them. In addition to the marketing, you can get the support from them, and then they can be not in addition to the team that they already have. They also understanding the contract, the wordings, the process of selling a house, right? That's including the negotiation as well with the other party, the buyer, right? So you're gonna be able to help one person to working with you for you, all right? Now, not all the agents gonna be the same. Therefore, you do have to ask the question. You have to make sure that you ask the question and to make sure that you understand whether the agent is a good fit for you. For example, some of the suggested questions like, um, do you work as a full-time realtor? Like I said, you have the full-time job, you have the full-time commitment on your life, you will not be able to sell your house on your own. So if you hire a part-time realtor, then they will not have time to sell your house neither. So why do you have to go through that process, right? So you have to make sure you have hire a full-time realtor. Or if they have part-time, they have to work under a full-time realtor. Otherwise, no one gonna take good care of your property, which is the biggest property that you have in life, right? The next one you can ask is how many potential buyers and sellers do you talk to in a week? If they haven't talked to anyone for a month or 2 months or a year, right? Some of the agent only close a year, one transaction per the entire year. Then compared to someone who closing on an average 2 or 3 transactions a month, it's going to be much better for the second person, right? So because they have more experience, otherwise that agent doesn't have a lot of experience, and I don't think that it is a good recommendation for you to go with a non-experienced person, right? That is number 2 question. Number 3 is what is the marketing strategy that they are going to do, right? Specifically. Otherwise, some people just, like I said, passive marketing, and they only put on the MLS and that's it, right? You have to ask for the detail of the marketing strategy that they are going to do for you. Welcome everyone to the webinar. Thank you so much. We are talking right now one of the 4 strategies to sell a house. This is including a couple of questions. This is including the market your property to the open market using an agent, right? I just go through a couple options, couple questions that you should ask your real estate agent. I do have the list of including 35 questions that you should ask. And if you are interested in learning more, feel free to give me shoot me an email and I will send the list to you. Okay. So that is strategy number 1, that active marketing, which is the boring one in my opinion, because this one is like very typical, very standard. Everyone know about this. There's nothing special about that. Now, unfortunately, in some situation, this option may not be the best for a certain homeowners. And that's the reason why I'm going to introduce you to another strategy. This strategy I call buy before you sell. This specific strategy is helpful for someone who looking to relocate to another location or to upgrade or downgrade on the house, right? What if the house is too big? They don't want to live in that house anymore. They want to downsize. What if the house is too small? They want to make it bigger. So buy before you sell, right? Normally, if you can qualify for the 2 mortgages at the same time, that is the best option. Okay, that is the best option, because now you can the benefit of doing that is that you can go shopping for the house, right? When you qualify for both mortgages at the same time, you can just go shopping for the second house until you find the perfect one. You buy that one, you are under contract, you close, you move into that one, and then you sell the first one, right? The reason why I recommend that way is that you buying a house is stressful. Selling a house is another stress, right? So you don't want to deal with 2 stress at the same time. But doing this strategy, make sure that you're only dealing with one at a time and make a better, more informed decision. Right? But sometimes this strategy doesn't work for some people. For example, like I said, you have to be able to qualify for 2 mortgages at the same time, right? Not everyone can do that because of the income situation, because of the debt situation. They may not qualify for both, right? So in that situation, what is the solution? The solution is that some companies actually is called Easy Knock and HomeGuard. Okay, those are the company that providing a very good option for you to purchase the second house, even though you're not qualified for the 2 mortgages, and then sell the house later. Now, there's some limitation for sure. Number one, you do have to sell your house within a certain timeline. With Easy Knock, it's going to be 6 months, okay? And number two, you have to pay for a fee, a certain fee, right? Normally, it's run from 2% to 3%, depending on the program, depending on the company, right? But most of the time, those fees, because those company at the end of the day is also acting as a loan officer. If you use their lending service, those fees will be waived. Okay, so for that situation, I mean, they are also, some of you may ask, what if they charge a high, crazy amount interest rate and closing cost, right? Yeah, well, in that, they are not, you are not obligated to use them, right? At that time, you can do a loan estimate comparison to see whether they give you the best option, even as or your lender gives you the best option, even though you have to pay the 2%. The biggest advantage of using them is you can buy the house, even buy the second house, even though you are not qualified for the 2 mortgages. Okay, so this is kind of a shortcut, that to go around to be able to do that and then reduce the stress and make the informed decision. Okay, of course we do have to do comparison to make sure that it gives you the best benefit. Now, number 3, creative financing. All right, creative financing. This term a lot become very popular in nowadays. It's mainly because the current market has a very high interest rate. Even with the primary homeowner, when they buy the house, it's already 6.9, almost 7%, unless you buy a new build, right? You can get a 5% with a new build. Okay. For the investor, in the other hand, you cannot, first of all, you cannot buy the new build with a low interest rate. And secondly, when you buy a resale home, you're gonna be charged 1% higher than the regular people, right? That is the reason why creative financing become a lot of popular, because the idea of creative financing is that you're gonna get a much lower interest rate compared to the market rate. Okay, for example, some of the homeowners bought a house in 2016, okay, 2019, 2020, and then you're gonna have a very low 3% interest rate. Okay, 3% interest rate. Then when you buy the house, when you sell the house with creative financing, the future buyer can take over the 3%, and which gonna create a much more affordable situation for that person, either to live in a house or to rent the property. Okay, but you may ask some question, why such a homeowner does that? Okay, why a homeowner does that? It simply is for some situation they have a negative equity situation. The reason number one, for example, if they bought a house in let's say March or April of 2022, when the value is going up, right? So the home value is going up above here 500, for example, but they still have a reasonable better interest rate than now. So back then, I think it's more like interest rate about like 6.125 or 6.5 versus now is 7%. In those situations, you're not gonna have a lot of benefit for creative financing, but it's still better, right? And then for that reason, when they try to sell now, for example, they bought in April 2022 and they want to sell now, they're not going to be able to get $500,000, right? The home value probably already dropped to for 80, for example, then they have a gap of 20,000. They don't want to sell. On top of that, they have to pay for agent commission, closing costs, and everything. So they may lose a lot to sell in the traditional way. So that's number one reason why the homeowners try to do creative financing, so that the new buyer take over whatever the mortgage that they have, giving the future buyer the benefit of the low interest rate, better interest rate than now. Okay, and willing to pay for the full price at 500. Okay, and number two reason why the seller use the creative financing is aiming to maximize the property worth. For example, come back to the situation where you have a 3% interest rate, for example, and your home value is now 500. Obviously, you can sell it on the open market, right? And then get the big lump sum of cash. But some seller, some owner, they don't want to sell right away, right? They want to get the money in a monthly basic, and because they have a big advantage of low interest rate 3%, they can charge 520 or 550 even, right? As long as the number makes sense with the future buyer, right? So they can charge a higher to offer the low interest rate terms for the future buyer. So those are the two reasons why they're gonna thinking about doing seller financing. Is it illegal? Is it illegal, right? Because most of the time you're gonna hear the situation that when you want to buy the house, you have to obtain a mortgage from a bank and pay off to the seller. So is it even illegal to discuss it here? Yes, it is. No, it is not illegal. It is 100% legal. In fact, the Arizona Association of the Realtors, and in fact, I assume any other realtor association, they have a specific addendum and attached documents to the purchase contract, specifically specify the terms and the condition of the creative financing when a seller and the buyer choose to go through the contract using this option. Okay, so it's perfectly legal. We just haven't heard of it for a long time. Okay, for a long time, it's mainly because it has been low interest anyway, so why we have to do a creative financing, right? But now, because of the high interest rate, this term become very popular. In fact, it's very popular in the commercial world rather than residential, but now it's become more and more popular in the residential world. Well, the next question the homeowner may have is, I still have the mortgage, can I do this? And definitely yes, right? Either you own the house free and clear, or you have the mortgage, you can still do it. There's some people maybe distinguish between the two. For example, if you own the house completely free and clear, right? Then you can choose whatever the interest rate you want to charge to the buyer, to the future buyer. It's called seller financing. Versus when you have the current mortgage, it's called a term that developed recently is sub to, right? Or take over the current mortgage. And either way is work. Now there is additional paperwork needed. Okay, additional paperwork needed to make sure everything is on board, everything is good with this transaction. This is a little bit more advanced strategy, so I highly recommend when you choose to go with this option, make sure that it's, first of all, sit down and do the analysis with the agents to make sure that this brings you the best return on investment. And secondly, make sure that all the paperwork has to be in place to be able to make sure that the buyer gonna pay you on the monthly basic correctly on time, and you don't have to deal with problem later on. Okay, that's strategy number 3, by the way. Now, strategy number 4 is basically to an investor. Okay, either an iBuyer or a wholesaler or fix and flipper is at the end of the day is an investor. So what is the cost? There is always a cost, because an iBuyer or wholesaler or fixer upper, they are investors. So they in the business, they want to make money, right? So they normally gonna charge you. For example, if you deal with iBuyer, they normally gonna charge you with an extra fee, and that fee could be running from 4% to 5%. Okay. The advantage of them, however, is you can close quickly. There's no negotiation after the price, right? Sometimes if you sell it to a regular buyer, they're gonna negotiate at the beginning, they're gonna negotiate during inspection, they're gonna negotiate during appraisal. For iBuyer, you don't have to deal with all three in negotiation. You only have to deal with one. But remember, there's an extra fee for that. And normally, if they already think they have to fix this and that and here, then you're going to be charged that extra as well at the beginning of the transaction. Okay. Do I need an agent to represent me? And absolutely yes. If you are not familiar with the iBuyer, okay, then it is highly recommended to have an agent with you, especially for those who are working with an iBuyer. Okay, for example, if you there actually gonna be multiple iBuyers company. Okay, we're talking about Open Door, one of the biggest name on the market right now. Zillow, they no longer have an iBuyer options, but Redfin or OfferPad, they also have an iBuyers options. Okay, so so those are the big name. There are also some other local smaller companies that offer the cash purchase as well, iBuyer program as well. And so an experienced agent gonna be familiar with the name of those company, and then they are able to help you navigate through the process of all the company. Because here's the thing, not all the company, they not gonna have an equal cash offer. Okay, all the company, they have their own computer models, they have their own process, they have their own way to calculate the offer. So if you already go through the iBuyer process, perhaps maybe it's a smart option to pick out the option that give you the most profit, right? So an agent, an experienced agent, can help you go through the all the process as well, especially if they're familiar with how buyer company works. All right. Like I said, strategy 4B is wholesaler. Very similar advantage. Close quickly, close cash. There's no additional negotiation after the contract is signed, right? But the downside, of course, wholesaler and fixer upper, they're gonna charge 70% to 85% of the market rate, market value, and they're not gonna buy the house equal with the market value. Otherwise, they don't make money, right? They are in the business of making money, so therefore they have to charge lower to be able to get the profit. Okay. So why? Why do we have to go through either the wholesaler or the iBuyer? Because it's quick, right? That is the main reason why a lot of people do this way. Because it's quick, because it's not a lot of negotiation, just one and that's it, right? And sometimes some of the situation, for example, if you are in a foreclosure, if you want to move to a different location quickly, or even if the house is a horrible mess, which is most of the time, that's why the wholesaler and the fixer upper can take the house and make the profit from that, right? And in that situation, they need the cash quickly, they need to move quickly, and therefore strategy number 4 is good for the seller in that situation. Okay, so what is the most effective, right? What is the most effective strategy that somebody might ask, right? So actually, that is the answer, I think, is not going to be the one that you like to hear. It depends, right? It really depends on the situation. So that's why when I sit down with a home seller, I have to understand the situation of the home seller to be able to recognize the best strategy. In general, though, whoever in a very distressed situation, like I said, they're losing the job, they cannot make the commitment anymore, they cannot make the money anymore to pay for the mortgage, then the cash investor may be the best option for them. But if they want a little bit higher profit, net proceed higher, they can choose creative financing as well. Traditional method is tend to be for those who do not have any distress level and want to have the highest proceed, right? So depend on the situation, depend where you are at in this chart. Really, there's no one size fit all, right? I have to look at the situation one by one, and then I'm able to help you out getting the best option for you. And that is the role of an experienced agent who has to have familiar with all four strategy, first of all, so that they know the pros and cons of each strategy. And when there is an input from the seller, hey, my situation is this, and I want that, right? Then the agent will analyze, help the seller understand each strategy, pros and cons for that specific situation, and then make the informed decision which one is the best route for them. Okay. For example, I just helped a seller recently, about 2 months ago, to first of all, they come to me and say, hey, Long, I want to sell the house. Great. That's good for you. Then the next question I asked them is why? Why did they want to sell? And then they said, okay, I just want a newer house, right? And they just think that is the best way to do, right? Sell the house first, and then do what? Rent another place, temporary place, and then move on, and then go buy the second house. Now, that seems to be very straightforward, but there's a lot of unknown in that situation. There's a lot of disadvantage in that situation. For example, how long does it take for them to find a second house, right? What if the rent during that period is $5,000 a month? Are they willing to do so, right? What if they cannot find a rental? So the situation become more complicated, right? And then they also have a little girl as well, and it's gonna be really difficult for move from the primary home to the rental and then to the second house. So there's a lot of moving, and they are professional. Both of them are professional, and it's gonna be more complicated to them. All right. So even though they have no stress, well, I would say they have a little stress, right? Even though they don't have the foreclosure situation, or they don't have any job loss situation, they have a little bit of stress. That's why I recommend them to buy before you sell. Now, I know this chart is a little bit off, because in fact, it should be the buy before you sell should bring you a highest proceed in that situation. In that situation, in fact, it helped them. When they buy the second house, they move completely. They take time to review it. They take time to do the inspection. They don't have to make a rush decision, right? They move to the second house. Then we can work on the house. And then, in fact, we sold the house. First of all, we bought the house $10,000 less than asking. And then we sold the first house $40,000 more than the original asking. All right. So there's a lot of benefit for the buy before you sell for that specific situation. Right. And that's why there's no one size fit all. And I hope that I can have a chance for if you have any question about the today presentation, or if you want me to do an analysis to make sure that, for example, if you are thinking about selling the house, maybe this is the time for us to sit down and talk about a strategy. No obligated at all, because I would love to provide you the information and help you make the informed decision about which strategy is the best for you. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I am so thankful that you joined me for today's webinar. And I hope that you can keep my contact information here, just in case you or your family member or your friends need help. I'm more than happy to share all the strategy and sit down and analyze the situation for you. Thank you.
Welcome to the vibrant city of Chandler, Arizona, a place where investment opportunities are as abundant as the sunshine.
Hello, I am Long Blake, your go-to realtor here in the heart of Chandler. I specialize in helping new investors to acquiring exceptional investment properties here in this dynamic city.
With a deep understanding of the local market and a passion for real estate, Longley is dedicated to finding the perfect investment for every client.
Whether you are investing in single-family home or multi-family unit,
I'm here to provide you with a personalized service that aligns with your investment goals.
Benefit from Longley's expertise in market trends, property valuation, and investment strategies, ensuring your journey into real estate investment is both profitable and enjoyable.
Chandler is not just a place to invest in, but it is also a community to be a part of. From its welcoming neighborhood to its thriving business landscape, there's no better place to start your investment journey.
So let's embark on this exciting journey together. I am Longley, your local real estate expert in Chandler and Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm here to make your dream a success reality.